He gave you nothing to work with. Act like she literally just proposed to you. Guys, we all have been there. She takes a couple hours, maybe even a day or two to respond, and when she does, it's a one-word, LOL, ha ha ha, barely even a sentence. What are you supposed to do in that situation to keep the vibe moving forward? What most of you guys are doing right now, and I know because this used to be me, is that you get desperate to continue to have the conversation flow. You send her a paragraph response, you change the subject, you double down, you get needy, you double text. We've all been there. This is the default spiral on the apps, and every single guy has been there. And also, worse, that must be mentioned, is that the more you like her, the more likely you are to go down this path, which is not going to be able to result in you eventually getting her out on the date. Because that's the main purpose why we're trying to master the text game and trying to actually, improve ourselves, improve the text game, so that we can ultimately get the girls that we're most interested out on the date. So what you need to do in this situation, instead of every other move that every other guy is going to try and fail to implement, is that you want to completely flip the dynamic. So when you get a neutral or even a cold comment, you want to amplify and read it in the most absurd way possible, as if she's literally just proposing to you. Now, for example, literally I met a girl the other day, and we had a good talk. We walked around downtown for a bit, and I texted her. Now, most of you guys would never know what to say. What I said was the most ridiculous guy thing ever, the thing that you think would never get a response. But trust me, this girl was gorgeous. So we had to go high risk, high reward. I literally texted something like, first woman I've ever talked to, so proud, because we met in person in a park. Most of you guys would never send that, obviously. I'm at the point now where I'll just send the most ridiculous thing and just not even think about it. She responded saying, wow, that's really something. Now, most of you guys would have doubled, you would have backtracked, you would have said, oh, well, I'm just kidding, LOL, anyway, how's your weekend going? Or you just would have even not know how to respond to that. You would have asked her some other question. You would have tried to continue the conversation in any other way. I simply said, calm down. That's all. And then she came back with something fun and flirty that was more invested. So that's how, with just one line, with just one short response that matches her energy, you can completely flip the dynamic in your favor and get her the one, because she's the woman on the apps getting way more attention than even the most attractive 10 out of 10 Chad-like dude who's 6'5" and has got six-pack abs and an insane jawline. She, even an average-looking woman on the apps, is getting more attraction than the best-looking guy on the apps, right? And so this completely flips the dynamic, because then she is the one who needs to reinvest back into the conversation, qualify herself to you, and actually starting putting more effort and energy and attention into the conversation. And guys, if she doesn't, then she's just not the one, and move on. And that is what the Guy app, link in the description, is always going to help you do. It is critical to have something like the Guy in your pocket anywhere you go when you are dealing with these types of situations. And when it comes to the most attractive women on the apps, they're always going to do this. It's just the way the game is played. Don't blame it on women. Don't blame it on the algorithm. Just understand that this is how the game is played and adapt to it accordingly. And the key thing to understand, guys, is that one, like I demonstrated, and I'll show you another example shortly, one simple small text can completely change the dynamic back in your favor. And what you have to understand, guys, is that the best game is when she thinks you have no game. That's why saying the most absurd thing like, you're the first woman I've ever talked to, so proud of myself, works. That's why it actually gets a response. Because she thinks, or she can't even tell, and that's why she needs to investigate further whether or not you're serious, whether or not you really are just being ridiculous or funny. But that is the best game you want to have. So let me give you a before and after example. Before, she says something like, you seem pretty cool, actually. Now, before, you would say something like this. Ha ha, thanks. You seemed cool too, exclamation point. What do you like to do for fun? Question mark. Now, This is exactly when you need to get the analysis from the Guy app, because if you were to ask the Guy what to say instead, it would give you 3 options. It would say, option 1, my hands are shaking. Option 2, I need that in writing. Option 3, please lower your voice. You see how it reinterprets a neutral comment like that, where most of you guys would have fumbled it right there and then you get no more responses. Instead, it matches her energy and it flips the dynamic to where she's the one who's overly pursuing you and you need her to take a step back and calm down. And then the Guy continues, I'd go with 3, which is, my hands are shaking, in response to her, you seem pretty cool actually comment. So it says, I'd go with 3. She's texting you and you're telling her to keep it down. The media mismatch is the whole joke, but you're not in on it. She complimented you and you reacted like she cornered you in a parking garage. Now she has to figure out what just happened. And guys, it's all about the delivery. When you act, again, like we've mentioned on this channel before, like the idiot virgin toddler who has never talked to a woman, who just wants to suck on his lollipop and play his Game Boy Advance in the corner. And when you have that type of energy, when she can't figure you out, because again, on your profile, if you're watching this video, you probably have everything else figured out in your life. The career, the hobbies, the social life, the finances, all that. I'm sure you have it all figured out. But the one thing you can't seem to figure out is the text game. Meanwhile, the Guy who has nothing going for him is killing it on the apps. It is because of what we have discovered, the signal inversion theory. And so what we're doing with the Guy app, again, link in the description, you can get a free trial, and it doesn't matter if you're looking to optimize your profile, get openers for the apps, no matter which one you're on, or just get an analysis of what's going on in your conversation. Guys, it works at any stage, whether you're just matching for the first time or you've been talking to a girl for 2 to 3 months, but you can't really tell what's going on in whatever the situation is. Free trial, link in the description. But what you have to understand with the Guy app and with the text game like we've been talking about, the guys who have everything going for them in real life, the hardware, so to speak, their software, all those traits that made them successful is what sabotages them on the apps. It's why they come off like their creepy uncle at the Christmas party with the pocket protector. And meanwhile, the guy who just doesn't care enough, the guy who's got nothing going for him, so he's lacking in the hardware department, but he has the software that all his texts come across as high value, quote unquote, because he doesn't care, he's not attached to the outcome, he's not trying to control the situation. That reads as confidence on the apps. It's the digital medium that has inverted the signal. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let me know if you have any questions. Guys, like I said, if you take one thing across from this video, is that when she thinks you have no game, when she thinks she might actually be the first woman you've ever talked to, that is the best game you could possibly have. And so that is what the Guy is helping you do. It's helping you get out of your own way, stop trying to have all these tactics like I see online of like, oh, you gotta wait 3 days after meeting her to follow up. Like, guys, the online dating landscape moves way too fast for that. And your text game cannot be you not texting, okay? That's just not acceptable. That is not going to work for you. Guys, if you want something that will work, you know what to do. Link in the description. Check out the Guy app. That's all for me in this one, fellas. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye.